Hi soulmates, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cynthia, and in today's video I'll be teaching you how to draft a basic trouser. So for this trouser, these are the measurements I'll be working with. I have the waist 28, hip 40, trouser length I have 41 inch, waist to hip I have 7, waist to knee I have 19, and then the knee circumference or round knee I have 16 inches, all in inches please. So I have here my pattern ready, my pattern paper ready, and in the pattern paper I already made my margin. So for the margin here I have 3 inch here and 3 inch on this side and 3 inch on this side. As we proceed with the drafting, you get to find out where we left the margin. First of all, divide the hip circumference by 4 to get the crotch length of the trouser. The hip I'm working with here is 40. 40 divided by 4, I have 10. So from this side, from this margin here, I'll mark 10 here. And then I'll come here and mark 10. I'll connect it like this. I'll also come like this and mark 10. And then here I'll mark 10. Then I'll box it up this way. So this box is the crotch length. I think I will highlight it with a marker so it will be more clear. So from here to here is the crotch length. Then I'll proceed to impute the waist to hip measurement. So this is my waistline. Here, this upper part will be my waistline, and then this is my crotch line. Here will be my crotch line, So I'll proceed to imputing my hip line. The waist to hip is 7 inches. Mark 7. Then I'll connect it like this. So this will be my hip line, right? So next you can proceed to measure out the length of the full length of the trouser. But for this trouser I'll be working with the exact length I have on this pattern paper, starting from this waist, this margin here that I use as my waistline, to the end of the pattern. Then when I'm transferring to fabric, I will add up the remaining length of the trouser. So now I'll proceed to mark out my waist to knee, the knee line. So what I have for my waist to knee, I have 19. I'll mark 19. Then I'll also mark 19. Now connect. So I'm going to highlight it with this marker so that you see this is the knee line. The next thing we are going to calculate is the waist circumference. The waist circumference here I'm working is 28. You are going to divide your waist circumference. 28 divided by 4. I have 7 inch. 7. Then for the dart intake I will use 1 inch. 1 inch for my dart intake. That's 8. I'll mark here 8. Then I will connect it to the hip line like this. Then I'll go up from this margin here by half an inch. We extend it out by half an inch. So this is the ½ inch. So the next we are going to do, you are going to calculate the crotch extension. So the crotch extension, how do you calculate the crotch extension? The crotch extension for the front is different from the crotch extension for the back. So the front crotch extension, you are going to divide the hip circumference by 20. So if your hip is 40 divided by 20, you have 2. So I'm going to extend here by 2 inches. I'll extend here out by 2 inches. This is my crotch extension. So let me highlight it with the marker. So from the hip line here, you come out by 0.25 inch. 0.25. Then you come with your curve and connect this point to this point, blending it into this line. This line will now be the center front. The center front, please, the center front line. So this is how I'm going to place my curve. This is how I'm placing my curve. Make sure that your curve is connecting this point. This 0.25 inch I extended out, blending it into the center front like this. So I'm going to highlight it with my marker. So next we are going to proceed to getting the crease line. The crease line of this pant. The crease line, how do you get the crease line? So you are going to divide on your crotch line. You measure what you have from crotch line, including the crotch extension. So I have 12. This 12, you are going to divide it into 2. You get the midpoint of the 12, which is 6. You mark 6. So you take it down to the hem of the trouser. You take it down to the hem of the trouser. And then you connect the whole point with a straight line. So now we are going to impute our knee circumference here. Our knee circumference. The knee circumference I am working with is 16. So the 16, you are going to divide it into 2. 8 for the front and 8 for the back, right? So the 8 for the front, this is the front part of the trouser. So whatever you have as your knee circumference divided by 2, you equally distribute it on both sides of the crease line. I don't know if you understand. Whatever you have as your knee circumference divided by 2, you equally distribute it on both sides of the crease line. This is the crease line. So equal distribution of 8. I have 4 on both sides. 4 here, 4 inches, and then 4 inches here. So I will take it down to the length hem of the trouser, and like I said, I will be stopping here because I don't want to add extra pattern paper. You can as well add extra pattern paper to get the full length of your trouser, but for me, I'll be adding the full the length, the full length directly on my fabric. I am going to connect from here, from this crotch line to this part using a straight line, then here like this. Then what you do, you use your curve to blend up sharp points. just blend it up. You can blend it up like this. So let me highlight it with my marker so you see. So for this other side, you connect here to this point with a straight line, right? And then using your curve like this, you connect this crotch extension. Here is the crotch extension, you connect it like this. So the difference between the basic trouser, this is the basic trouser, and the pencil trouser is that, so for the pencil trouser, you are going to get your ankle circumference. Your ankle circumference is pencil, right? So it will be very narrow at the ankle. But for the basic trouser, whatever you have at the knee circumference is what you extend down to the ankle. So that is just the difference between the pencil trouser and the basic trouser. I'll take my and I'll highlight this place here. Then I'll use my curve to blend here smoothly. See how it is. So this is the front parts of the trouser. So for the darts, to impute the darts, you are going to get the midpoint of this place of the waist. The midpoint is 4. So the dart length is 4.5 inch. Then the dart intake on both sides is ½ inch on both sides, right? ½ inch on both sides. Then you are going to connect like this. Then afterwards, you connect this part here to the second dart leg. Very, very important. You connect it to the second dart leg. So let me highlight it with my marker. So this is what the front part of the trouser looks like. So now we proceed to the back part of the trouser. So for the back part of the trouser, we are going to extend out this crotch line into the margin that we already created. And for this, and we are also going to extend out the hip line into the margin, and then the waistline, we're extending it out into the margin. So for the back part, I'll be using the blue highlighter. I'll use blue. So black is for the front, blue is for the back. For the back, on the crotch line, from here, from this box that we created, on this crotch line, you go in by 1 inch. From hip circumference 40 and above, you go in by 1. But for hip circumference less than 40 inches, you do 0.75. Then on the waistline, you go in by 2 inch. Then for hip circumferences less than 40 inch, you go in by 1.5. So 1 here, 2 inch here. So what you do, you connect it with a straight line. So please remember that the front trouser and the back trouser are drafted on the same paper, and then you can afterwards you proceed to trace out on different pattern paper before you transfer to your fabric. So you connect and then you extend it out by you just extend it out. We're extending out by 1.5. So this extending it out is dependent on how much bump the person has, you understand? So we can do 1.5 for the extension, we can do 2 for this extension on the waistline, you can do 2.5 depending on how much bump the person have. So for this I will do 1.5. I will extend by 1.5. So this is 1.5. So I'll clean out the excess here. Then I'll highlight it with my blue marker. Oh shit, sorry, it was not supposed to. So the next we are going to proceed into getting the crotch extension for the back. Like I told you, the front crotch extension is different from the back crotch extension. So first of all, we are going to extend out this line here. We extend it out. So the back crotch extension, how do you get it? You divide the waist, the hip circumference by 10. 40 divided by 10, I have 4. So from this line, so this line will now be the center back. This blue line will be center back. So from the center back, I will mark 4 inch. So this is where the 4 inch is here. From this center back, I will mark 4 inch. So I will clean out the excess. Then I'll use my blue highlighter to just highlight it. Then, like we did in the front, on the front, I'll go out from the hip line by 0.25 here. On this hip line, from the center back, go out by 0.25. Then you come with your curve and then you connect it like this. So make sure that the curve is blending for the center back, so that's 0.25 that you mark into the back crotch extension. So let me highlight it with my marker. See how I place my curve, right? See, this is how you are going to place a curve. So next we are going to impute our waist circumference. Your waist divided by 4 is 7 plus 1 inch. The waist divided by 4, the waist I'm working it is 28 divided by 4, 7 plus 1 inch for that is 8. See where the 8 is. So now my hips, I will come and impute my hip circumference. So the hip circumference I'm working with is 40 divided by 4 is 10. So what I have from here to here, so this is 10, starting from the center back, not this crotch extension. Starting, the 10 is taken from this line, this center back line. I'll mark out the 10. So whatever I have from here to here, I'll bring it on my crotch line and I'll mark it. So I will extend this point to my waistline. I'll connect the hip line to the waistline. Then I will extend it out by half an inch. Remember, we extended the front out by half an inch, right? You also do the same for the back so that it will align when you are sewing, right? So this will do the same for the back. So I'm going to highlight it with my marker so you see. Then I will connect it like this. I'll connect these 2 points just like this. So next, on the knee line, we are going to, from this front knee line, we are going to just add half inch on both sides. That half inch is for ease, right? So there is nothing much going on at the knee and the hem. There's nothing much going on. So what you just have to do is just add half inch on both sides, half inch on both sides, then half inch on both sides. So I'll come with my marker and then connect this to the hem. Then next I will connect from this point to this point. Then what you do, if you can blend up this sharp point using your curve for smooth transition. Then for this crotch side, you come with your curve. You see, don't make it too curvy. You connect. So I'll come with my marker and highlight this part. So you blend up every sharp point. So next you are going to blend up these two places together. You come with your curve like this, and then all you just have to blend this place together. And then this is the back of the trouser. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to impute the dart. So to impute the dart, we'll get the midpoint of the waistline of the waist of this trouser of the back. I have the midpoint. The waist is 8. I have 4 here in the midpoint. So at that midpoint, you are going to draw a line perpendicular to this waistline. You see that the waistline is not straight, right? So when you hear something is perpendicular, that means it is at 90 degrees to another line. You understand? So when you hear a line, a perpendicular line, that means the line you are going to draw should be at angle 90 to this waistline. So this is how you do it. So for the back that length, I will do 5 inch. For the front we did 4. For the back we did 5. So that intake is 0.5 on both sides. That is 1 inch in total. Then so the marker in blue is the back part of the trouser, then the part in black is the front part of the trouser. So all you just have to do next is to get another paper, trace out the front and trace out the back. But before we trace out the back, I also want to show you something. Before we trace out, on this front part of this trouser, you can come down by 0.75 to 1 inch. So to give you that curved waistline, or you can do 0.5 to 1 inch depending. I'll do 0.75. So all you just do is to just connect it like this. So the essence of doing this is to eliminate smile line from the center front and to give it that round shape. So now we'll proceed to tracing out this trouser. So what you are going to do is to get 2 pattern paper, one for the front and then one for the back. So you might want to just place something on top so that it will not shift while you are placing it, or you can as well clip the paper together, but I'll look for something to place on top. So I'll proceed to tracing out the one in black. You trace out like this. So this is the front part of the trouser. I have traced it out and this is what it looks like. So now I will proceed to tracing out the back part of the trouser. So with this you can actually do any alteration on the trouser that you want to do. So I'm done tracing out the back part of the trouser and this is what it looks like. This is the back and then this is the front. You see the difference, right? So you can then proceed to cut out the pattern, and then you can as well do any sort of alteration you want to do on the trouser. You can make it palazzo, you can make it straight, you can make it whatever alteration you are free to do, any alteration you want to do. So we have come to the end of this tutorial. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in my next video. Bye.